In this video, we strive to remain spoiler-free, discussing only story and plot elements from the books relevant to what has occurred already on the show. When necessary, a spoiler warning with a countdown will be given.
Hey everyone, I'm Jen.
I'm Max.
And I'm the Geeky Hippie. Welcome back to WoT the Adaptation, the YouTube channel that reviews adaptations from one form to another. This week we continue with The Witcher. Max, what can you tell us about this episode?
Well, episode 3, Reunion. Dandelion talks about spooning Radovid. Geralt plays Fetch. Yennefer plays politics, while Sirion masks a fraud, and he would have got away with it but for those meddling kids.
Hey.
It was directed by Ganja Monterio. Probably butchered that name, I'm sorry. They're known for directing 2 episodes of Wednesday and 5 episodes of a show called The Chi. I've never heard of it. Written by Haley Hall. They've written 12 episodes of The Witcher. That's all they have in the credits. In season 2, Haley Hall with Lauren Hishert, who is the showrunner, wrote the first 8 episodes of season 1 together.
Okay.
And yeah.
Sounds good. What did you kids think of this episode?
I'll start off first. I really like this episode. It delved into more. There's definitely a couple of subplots which we'll get to here later on that have ended. And I enjoy the fact that there were some deviations from the book in this episode in particular that I really enjoyed actually. As well as I just think everything is starting to get more fleshed out, and I like the acting, especially with Yaskier in a couple of scenes as well in this particular episode. So yeah, I really thoroughly enjoyed it. Probably my favorite so far.
Good.
I liked it.
Liked it? Okay.
Yeah, I liked it.
I enjoyed it a lot. Much like Jen, I even enjoyed scenes that were changes from the books, which, oh my goodness, Glenn likes the changes. double check your hearing there, everybody. Yes, I do like the changes. Not all of them, but some of them. Yeah, I enjoyed this episode. We can get to that though. You want to start us, Max?
Sure. Question 1. Of all the changes from the source material, what are some you enjoyed and what are some you disliked?
I'll let go first, but I can automatically think of one.
Go ahead. Go ahead if you've got one automatically.
So the one that I did like is the death scene, where the elven rebel gets killed at the end of the drinking scene with the scene. That definitely wasn't in the books whatsoever.
No.
So
I went, what?
And I was very surprised when it happened, right? I thought he was gonna get buddy with him in that scene, and they were just gonna have some like male bonding time or something like that. All of a sudden he stabs him on the neck, and the acting I think was very good because he seemed like remorseful, but it's just he did something that I felt that he had to do to get back on the Nilfgaardian good side. So even the stabbing the mirror, which normally I think is a little bit dramatic or whatever, I was okay with that. So yeah, that was probably one of the biggest eventful changes from the books that happened in this episode that I actually really liked. So,
and I liked it. I liked the change.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that scene. The change that I liked was, the whole Dijkstra and Philippa having Hedwig killed. That's not in the book. I don't even think Hedwig's even mentioned in the books.
There's a loud. I'm sorry. There's
that's
loud...
not me. That's So as far as changes that I liked, I liked Dijkstra and Philippa having Hedwig killed, and the scene in which the head is discovered. And along with that, I also like the change of, we get to see Philippa with Eva, who isn't even a character in the books, but the two of them, and we learn that Eva's the one that cut Hedwig's head off. I like that scene too. But yeah, there was one in particular that I liked. One change. How about for you, Max? Was there any changes that you liked in particular?
You covered them well. I feel like it's been a while since I've read the book, but I feel like Siri getting towards where they were at wasn't quite there yet. I could be wrong. Like with the witches. Like I feel like she
Okay.
wasn't quite there yet, but I could be wrong. Like
She was
before she
there.
before she
was.
escaped, but I couldn't remember if she's. I don't think
Yeah, she was at the
she was-
bathhouse. She was there at the bathhouse.
It was a bathhouse.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So I can't remember if it was
Um,
witches involved in there because it sounded like it was a different place entirely. I don't know. It's been a while since I read it, but it just
And
felt
they
like it was
prefer
something off.
sorceress.
Yeah.
They prefer sorceress and enchantress, which is offensive to them.
Yeah, whatever.
Just saying.
Just
Saying.
I said it's been a while, but it felt like there was something just off about that scene in some way.
There is one thing we're missing, is we don't get that officer come to talk to Tisea about whatever it was. Because in the book it's really significant. They were gonna the women were going to pose nude in front of them to make the officer embarrassed, and down in comes to the room an officer, but it's a woman. And so, hitting home that whole point that women can do just about anything in this world that the men can do, except witches, actual apparently witches. But yeah, so that was missing from the bathhouse scene. That might be what you felt was lacking or wrong.
I don't know. I couldn't remember what it was. It was just something just felt out of place, out of whack. This whole series being so jumpy back and forth, it's hard to keep track of what's going on with where.
I agree. It's hard for me too sometimes. A lot. Yeah.
And she's read the books.
Yeah. And it's still hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like
I've been through them 3 times now.
They're talking about going to the tower, so they're not tower. What do you want to call it? I can't remember the place they're calling
Thanet Island.
Yeah.
Aretusa.
Yeah. They're talking about going there. They haven't got there quite yet. And she escapes. That's part of the books. And then I think there was, I can't remember if there was anything with the hunt in there or not, but there was some storm.
Yes,
but I don't think did she find evidence of the hunt like she did in the show?
No.
No.
That was new. The whole her finding the mask and everything on the ground, like that wasn't, there was no tangible.
And Geralt meeting her on the road was new too.
Definitely new, yeah. He wasn't there.
But the wild hunt was chasing her in the book.
Yeah. So I knew there was something in the book about the wild hunt in this one, as well as like prior mentions in earlier seasons as well, or books, I should say. I know there's game references too, especially like the visuals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts. I was like, this is so like the game.
What was it? What looked like the game?
Oh,
yeah,
same.
It looks very like just right out of the game. Like the cloudy like going past them and then just kind of forming the shape out of like the fog and that sort of thing. Like that entire concept was like straight from the game, and the clouds coming over the horizon before like they come in, and all that was just like the game. It was really freaking cool.
Nice.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that part like immensely. So
I just can't wait till we finally get a Dresden one where we see Santa Claus leading the wild hunt. It just if you haven't read Dresden, you won't get it, but
not yet.
No, I've heard about it. I have not read.
I'm waiting. I'm waiting for Dresden Files to be completed, and then I am going to binge them. One with the only books that will interrupt my binging are books for this channel and the other channel that I'm on. So, were there any changes that you guys disliked? For one, I didn't like them making that night that they saw at the Wyvern show, Basilisk show, to be such a coward and braggart. It was like, if he was an important character, I'd call it character assassination, but it really was, and they took him and just totally twisted the way the character behaved from the book. He was actually quite brave in the book, volunteering to go up to the cage with Ciri, when he still thought it was a basilisk, and he had never been bragging about killing a basilisk. So I really didn't like what they did with the knight.
Counterpoint, you're right, first of all, 100%, but I understand why. I didn't like it, but I understood it enough to be accepting of it, because what they're trying to do is kind of play off a theme of the last episode, which I'm sorry guys, I wasn't here for, but you know how Siri's whole thing was she was going to make brash decisions, like freeing the dwarf at the last second and definitely calling attention to herself when she doesn't need to be doing what she was doing by going like against everybody, going, that's actually not a basilisk, and blah blah blah. It was just more of her. I think it was a throwback to that, of her still not understanding that she needs to remain incognito and inconspicuous.
Right.
So I think they were trying to like play more to that. So whereas you're watching it, and if you didn't know, you'd be like, no, shut up, stop. Like that entire feeling that you would get from her and be like, oh no, she's going to mess up. She's going to get in trouble. People are going to find her out or whatever. I know that's why they did, is that whole anticipation.
So
thing.
here's a question from a meta angle. Would him being the brave knight be how the story is written from the audience's perspective? Because what she said, he saved her. Remember how Siri yelled out he saved her because from a meta perspective, would this be how the audience perceives the story being written?
I see what you're saying. Yeah, how a historian would write it later or something like that. Possibly, yeah. Could be. I see what you're saying now. Yeah. Little twist. Very true.
Did either of you have a scene that you disliked? Or a change that you disliked? No changes that you disliked other than...
I am waiting to see what this whole thing with this Siri, this other Siri with her head manipulation is. Like, I'm jury's still out on that. Because I don't know exactly how they're gonna do it like different, or what they're going to do with it in the show. So I'm still out on that.
I also dislike pretty much everything they did to Fabio. From his age, his height. I didn't like him passing out flyers to the bank. First of all, most of the people he was handing a flyer to probably couldn't read.
It's true. I never considered that, but yes, that's true.
And I didn't like his attitude towards Siri. You know, it's just, it was like everything was like the exact opposite of Fabio from the books. And I would have appreciated her little half prophecy, you know, that she had about him, you know, about him being a great explorer. I would have loved some nod to that. That would have been neat.
You know, considering the scene you were talking about earlier about the trying to embarrass the captain, you know, sexploitation, the very next scene or whatever was Philippa and the assassin, which just came out like ballpark out of nowhere. Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Wasn't really expecting that scene.
It's not entirely unexpected, because we do know that in the books, Philippa now prefers women. Don't know exactly how it worked before then, but you know, we do know she was into men. We don't know she was into both, but you know, knowing that she liked women made that scene not too much of a surprise to me. But
okay,
I do like the fact though that that's the character who chopped the head off. It's just the way she talked about it. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, it was kind of funny the way she's like, "Oh, nobody expects a head in a box." Like the way she said it was kind of funny.
Yes, that was one of the two great lines of the episode.
Oh, sorry, did I spoil it for you?
No, I had. That was the one I didn't write. That was the one I didn't write down.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
I wrote a three-word sentence down for my favorite line of the dialogue in the episode.
Okay.
I'm just thinking the Andy Samberg would be her counterpart. You know, Lonely Island. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I can't say that. I can't say that. You're gonna have to bleep that out.
I will.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize.
She will not like that gift in the box.
No, she would not. I don't think so.
Well, see, the night I watched this episode, I had been live tweeting sort of my reactions to The Witcher without giving any hashtags, without giving any hint as to, in my tweet, there was no hint at all to what I was watching unless you had seen the episode I was reacting to. And I went off about what's in the box. What's in the box? I did that whole thing. Yeah, that was me reacting to the head being found in the box. I had to go tweet about that. But most of those tweets that night were all in reference to the episodes I was watching, without like specifically giving away. And people kept liking them, and I'm like, do you know what I'm referring to? But yeah, I had fun that night.
Well, if we're ready, I have our second question tonight.
Okay, what's that one?
How well did the show interpret the appearance and nature of costumes, props, scenery, creatures, both practical and VFX, and how did you enjoy the music?
How did I know you were going to ask that?
No idea.
Okay.
Absolutely effing knocked it out of the park. I know we've already discussed it, but the Wild Hunt, I clapped when I saw it on screen because I was a big fan. I was like,
it looked good.
Yeah, because the whole thing was like CGI effects. Like that was the definition of this episode. That was the crowning moment, and it was incredible. Just the overhead pan scene drone shots of the forest were freaking phenomenal in this episode. I really even liked there was just little small things, especially with costuming. I can go into this because this is the right time for it. But bald-headed mage guy. I forget who is threatening.
Dijkstra?
Yeah.
Mage?
At the table when he was like, "Oh, what if I blackmail you or whatever to think that maybe you were the one that whatever." Anyway, he had a gold chain of office on the crimson that was kind of like around his tabard, and as he was moving around, the back of it got tangled in a little section. And it was one straight filming shot because they didn't go back and forth as the camera panned to and from his face to fix it. You could tell it was done in one shot, and it was just great how they left it, because those are things that really bother me when I look at that scene. So if you go back, if you look at his back scene, like the gold like chain is twisted, has a kink when he was moving around, just as it naturally does.
This is when they found the head?
A piece of jewelry, yes, to lay flat. And they never, because a lot of movies you see something that there'll be a clothing mishap and the camera will pan away and it'll come back to it and it'll be fixed. That was done in one straight shot. It had to be, because it was the same exact kink at the same exact place the whole time. So I love little things like that. Like they filmed that in one scene and it was done, and it was really good acting. So I actually really appreciated that. I actually really like the wyvern. I guess maybe that's effects as well, like how they did the little baby wyvern.
It's the one thing I didn't like.
Oh, you didn't? I liked it. Okay, and I will say the one thing I didn't like about the effects is before the Wild Hunt, which was great, came the it was so green screened Siri riding on the horse as she's looking back. That whole shot behind her of the trees was very bad. It was very bad. But other than that, the Wild Hunt made up for it.
that green screen appearance that we got a few times.
Yeah.
I liked everything other than that, and the wyvern. My problem with the wyvern is it's monochromatic. It's just true. It's just this one color. No real subtlety to it, no variation. It just it looked like they took a bunch of oil and tossed it on a wyvern and just let the wyvern do its thing, and I'm just like, I'd like to see, it doesn't have to be like this back here. It doesn't have to be colorful like that, but, something other than just black, and it was kind of boring.
Okay, I can see that.
For me, I'd say like the music at the start of the episode actually stood out for a change for me. Like just start episode, I didn't hear anything else the rest of the episode, but at start, I stood out.
Stood out well or poorly?
Just stood out well.
Okay.
The wyvern, the graphics were okay on it, but some of the mouth looked odd to me. I don't know why. Like just how they designed it just was odd. I don't know. Maybe it's like they're going for the mutant route for the wyverns over like natural. I don't know. you know, on
I
a
mean,
design perspective of like colors and stuff. If you're gonna go on like how it should look, you know, you kind of base it like what's the environment it's living in, what's it trying to blend in with, you know, and are they trying to say its environment is some kind of like black gooey place? I don't know. You know, because are these coming from the other world? I don't know.
the basilisks in season 2 had color to them,
Mhm.
and they're from that other world. So
Yeah, I don't know.
I have some design issues. The execution, the actual animation itself was pretty dang good, but it was the design that I didn't care for. The execution of, you know, when Siri went down to tackle it on the ground, they did I'm not sure exactly what they did to have her with the rug, the tapestry wrapped around something, what that tapestry was wrapped around, or if the tapestry itself was CG at that point, you know, which is the only, you know, maybe the only thing that would make sense is have, you know, Freya pretend to be holding a blanket, or not a blanket, tapestry, and wrapping around so many things, and then they just skin, you know, the material over where it would be. I don't know how they did that. I'd love to find out.
Mm.
I will say, if you ever seen any other TV shows that like do animals, Netflix's Witcher is like killing it comparatively.
Oh, I believe
Yeah.
you.
La Brea is one example. We just saw one called Joe Pickett today. Just horrible
seen either of those.
CGI animals. Like they're not even trying to use real animals anymore, I guess.
Oh.
You know, training is a big part of it and safety and all that, which makes sense. But like the CGI ones are just horrible.
Mm.
And several examples, like there's a wolf show. I can't even think, it was like Wolf Pack or something like that on Peacock, I think.
Mhm.
There was a big animal, elks and stuff like running through people, and it was the CGI for animals
Like
these days are just,
clipping through people?
well, no, not clipping. Like there's this, they're running through a bunch of parked
Oh,
cars.
okay. Oh,
Not
okay.
like not clipping through them, like running on top of them and hitting people and all that stuff.
Oh,
But
Mm.
the graphic quality for these things, like, not great.
Mm.
Didn't look realistic at all. They look very 2005 video game-ish almost.
ouch.
Like,
That's harsh, dude.
yeah, like they, if you go to
Just
a
fighting
mall,
words. What's
you
wrong
know,
with that? No,
you go to a mall, you know, shooting games with a
Oops, the
deer.
retro gamer.
I was like, I like those games. No, I know what you're saying. I know. What
Yeah, it's like those quality hunting games in the mall. It's like they're not.
Cabela
Gotcha.
hunting
Yeah.
or whatever it is. Yeah,
It's like, yeah, they're not.
yeah.
It's not like the Cabela 2023 or something like that. It's like 2010.
I laugh. You guys like my actual laugh.
Wow.
So in comparison, Witcher is killing it, but it's not, no, Marvel or Disney.
Or HBO's Dragons.
Yeah.
Still say nothing's looked as good as the dragons on Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon.
Those were. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Not a dragon in any movie looked
Bro.
anywhere near as good.
Oh,
Smog.
agreed.
Smog looked terrible compared to them.
What was that one movie with the big dragon in Britain?
Dragonheart?
Rain
No.
of Fire?
Rain of Fire.
Yeah, where dragons took over the world.
Oh, I don't remember. I didn't see
Can't
that.
remember how that one
We
looked.
accidentally wake up dragons and they devastate the world.
It's been a while. I'll have to look, see
Let's
how
go.
quality wise compares to, you know,
Right.
Game of Thrones. It's been a while.
Dragon Slayer had a good dragon. That was all done stop motion. Go
Anyways,
motion, as they called it.
Were there any other prop, scenery, costumes?
Love the costume being in the bathhouse. Love how the other ladies were posed in Greek Hellenistic fashion. Lots of Hellenistic Greek that I'm seeing borrowed, including the hairstyle, including the one off the shoulder toga situation. Even the one lady, like, was it Triss? I don't know, reclining, I think it was, and the hip show with the slit.
That was Sabrina.
That very Hellenistic with the belt copper belt situation. Really loving the pull from ancient Greece and Roman bathhouse situation. I'm loving the whole,
Yeah,
like,
I hadn't
see
caught
where
that until
that's
you
coming
mentioned it.
from. Yes, but I enjoyed the historical anecdotes of even the way they were posed, the lounge with a cup. It reminded me of like so much of, there needed to be a satyr that needed to come in and start feeding them grapes or something. Like, I don't know.
Right?
Anyway, but yeah, that I enjoyed that a lot. But anyway, good.
I didn't have anything else.
If we're ready for the next question.
Yeah.
Question 3. What is a scene or sequence you most remember, enjoyed, and or hated?
I'll let you go
Other than
first.
how it looked, and the other things I've mentioned about it, I actually enjoyed the Wyvern sequence. You know, that whole point, you know, there at the Wyvern show and just how everything played out. I mean, I was a little annoyed that we lost the knight's girlfriend, the lady he was with, and instead we got some pickpocket who steals Ciri's purse. And if you watch that again, you can hear the exact moment she grabs the purse because you hear a little chink of the coins.
Oh,
I didn't catch that the first couple. I didn't until this last time watching
good,
it.
Good sound.
I really enjoyed that scene.
The sad
but I
part
also-
is I was watching it on my phone and I heard that still.
Wow,
First time.
Good catch, Max.
good ears.
Yeah.
I also really enjoyed the scene when they find the severed head in the box.
Mhm.
That, you know, Dykstra was just badass in that moment. You know, what Dykstra did there was just great. And then all the way through to Radovid leaving the feast hall, you know, after him and he got Dykstra's face and Dykstra got in his face, and wow, that was a great scene. I think.
I'll let Max go, but I have mine, but I'll let Max go because I've been going first.
Oh, you kind of covered the head in a box scene. It was kind of pivotal. Obviously, you got the riders at the end, which is pretty good cliffhanger ending scene.
I liked, and this is fully the show, not the books, how they have Jaskier not realizing he has a crush. And I love how that was written. And he's like, you can't, he's like, Geralt's a hammer. You can't hammer porridge or whatever that is. And then he's going through it and he's having the girls like, you have a crush. He goes, what? No, like the way that was done, and it was totally not book like reference at all. It was 100% the show. That entire thing, it's very human, relatable to Jaskier. It's like, but he's like the spoon, blah blah blah. Like he's going on, and she's like, you like this. She goes, and do you like him? He goes, no, in a platonic way. And she goes, no, the spoon. You like the spoon guy. He goes, what? Like, no, it was so.
I don't have crushes.
Good to see that side of Jaskier and the denial.
I thought it was
nice.
funny.
It was funny.
First of all, who the scene was with. I thought it was funny who the scene was with because she threw him out the first time we saw him in episode 1.
She did.
She was throwing everything in there at him.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
I
thought that was a funny throwback.
2, I love that moment. You know, she's talking, she's naked. We come back to to Joey Beatty, and wait, when did you get dressed? And we look back, and she's fully dressed already. It's just like, wait, when did you get dressed?
Talking the whole time. It's just showing you that
right.
He's not even paying attention.
He wasn't talking nearly that long, which is the funny part about it.
Yeah,
because she was dressed.
Well, she could be one of those entertainers that get dressed really fast.
Okay, maybe. Yeah, she was like she'd been ready for a while, you know. I just thought that was funny. Yeah. Did you have another one, Max?
Trying to think. Yeah, you kind of covered a lot of the bases of this episode. There was the sort of related to the bath scene, a whole interaction going on with the school thing. Ciri not really liking on what's going on with this whole politic game of just like I don't like this. This is not right. You know, like it is like hard to say if I like the scene, but it's like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
In
I
the
like
book,
how
she's
she's
not
like-
even serving them. She's not waiting on them. She's swimming
Hmm.
in the book.
I like how she's like, no wonder. Of course, Geralt isn't here. He wouldn't have sold his soul like you are. Like I really like that line. I guess I
Yeah.
should have liked that line. Sorry.
Hmm.
I'm
Was
getting
there
ahead of
anything
myself.
you disliked? Any scenes you guys disliked? I have one, but I think somebody likes it.
Hmm.
I dislike Cahir killing Gallatin. Because he's not dead in the books, not so much, but because it's making Cahir harder to like.
Yeah.
And Cahir's not like my favorite character in the books,
Mhm.
but there's a point where the reader forgives him, I think.
Mhm.
At least I think most readers forgive him.
Mhm.
And I'm having a hard time seeing how they're going to make the viewers forgive him.
I think they're trying to start the journey with making him a tortured and troubled individual that you don't think that has some sort of guilt, I guess. You have to start with that first and then go on the road. I don't know how
Yeah.
quickly they're going to go do it. If they jump to the next thing where you're trying to feel sorry for him the next episode, that's too quick. I don't know how they're going to do it though.
Well, I'll say right now it's already implied that he was probably told to kill him because he knows about Siri, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, he was told to kill Gallatin so that Francesca would stay in command because Francesca was a bit more of a easier to use, I guess, and he didn't want to divide. He said divided allegiances make things problematic. You know, you can't have a division amongst the elves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, have to have the elves united around one leader, and let's kill the leader we already have in place.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about Siri because he mentioned the girl, and that's when like they cut the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's not right. It gave him enough to know what Francesca was up to. And still, you know, if they had gone ahead with Gallatin killing Francesca, it would have caused the elves to divide more than they are already divided.
Oh yeah,
At least the Scoia'tael elves, you know, the squirrels.
Or it could have been both. I see both possibilities.
because like we weren't
That's
given
just
the
way it
kill
seems to
order.
me.
Like we weren't given the kill order so far.
To kill Gallatin?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
No,
like it
we
kind of
weren't.
like just like they kind of cut off. Like, you know, we don't want to divide them and like cut off and then come back to this whole scene.
Yeah, they didn't hear. We didn't get to hear him give the kill order because
Yeah,
the director and writers wanted us to be surprised when it.
yeah,
You know,
that's what I mean. Like from my perspective, like I could see something with the Siri, the whole like you're saying with don't want to divide, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd be like, you know, what's more important for the king? Is it you don't want to divide, or do you want him to know about the Siri thing? Because you could, because he's a useful soldier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would you rather keep him alive and do something you want him to do, or kill him because he knows about Siri?
They're killing him because Gallatin knows that Francesca's looking for a princess of Sintra. I don't see how that would have made any sense. Killing Gallatin just because all the other elves up there know that Francesca's looking for Siri. So killing Gallatin would have succeeded at nothing. So that's why I'm so sure. That's why I'm pretty positive it was to avoid having a division amongst the elves. And also a test of Cahir's loyalty.
Oh yeah. That part for
Because
sure.
because it seems apparent to me that M here understood that these two are friends and have been friends for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Which is something that's not in the book either, but we don't ever see Gallatin with Cahir.
We sure don't.
Is he even in the books?
Gallatin, yes. Yep. And I can tell you two people, I can't remember one of them's name, but I can tell you two people he ends up wandering around the continent with for a while. One of them's a character in this episode. And I would never have known who those three characters were if it hadn't been for the way Peter Kenny did the voices when he narrated them. It's like, oh, okay, because they
Gave away
never
the voice.
name who they are. And it
Yeah.
wasn't until I heard it, and then I'm like, I was reading about it online. I saw who those three were, and I went back and I listened to it again, and then I heard the descriptions, and I'm like, oh, okay, yep, that description matches. Yeah. So it was really clever the way I like Sapkowski wrote those scenes with Gallatin and the other two.
Right. So were there
Well,
other
for the
scenes or
book.
sequences or?
No,
All right. So question 4. How well written was dialogue? Did it adapt dialogue from the book well? And did the actors deliver those lines well? Jen?
I loved it, all of it. I loved
it was
all
pretty
of
good.
it. I love
It
them
was
even
all
talking
good.
about the gold. Like, even though I thought it was kind of like a little bit corny, it was a bit corny. But even like when they're like, when Yen is meeting with the leader of the sorcerers, I forget her freaking name, and she's like, "Oh, you can't fuck gold, you can't eat gold, blah blah blah." I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a little bit corny, but even like that delivery, like it was so much better than pretty much everything this episode. I really believed and was kind of freaked the hell out when that other Siri started changing her voice with Geralt, and he's like, tell me a name, and then like she completely like goes into like this whole other person or whatever.
That was
nuts.
that was that actor's best performing yet. That
right?
scene. Oh
Right?
man, she was good.
So
in that
I didn't
scene.
expect that from that actress at all. She was just like, like
Night
this
after
whole time.
last week.
Yeah, I
Last
didn't.
week she was just
Annoying.
so bad.
Yes, she was. I
I
agree
called
with
her
that.
out as the worst of the episode.
She was very bad, but this was
There's-
a complete change and surprise.
There's
Enjoyed
one
it.
line that
Oh,
I
is that
just
because
loved,
they
and it's-
voiced over?
Well, it
Probably.
was but the
Probably.
acting and the performance of the face
Still
was good
very
too.
good. Still very good.
There's one great line that just stuck with me when it was written. It's not that it's said and it's greatly written. It's just it's so true. Toxicity is infectious. If you're around a toxic person, you're bound to pick up on being toxic and start being toxic around other people. And it's just like, I heard that line and I'm like, I don't even remember who said it. I wrote that line down on a piece of paper, and like that line just stuck with me since the first time I saw it a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the dialogue I think was great all around. I think it was well written and well performed.
Yeah.
I really don't have any complaints about performance this week.
None.
So just
Zero.
some good stuff I want to talk about.
I loved Jaskier's spoon dialogue.
Loved it.
I hope
Loved
he had a big bowl before doing those lines. Couple edibles, something.
Yeah.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Beatty was doing good on that line.
Mm-hmm. Perfect.
Move on.
Sure. Question 5. Who do you call the best and or worst actor in this episode? And or the best or worst casting? You can choose up to 3 people.
This is
I'll
gonna
let you
be
guys
hard
go
for me,
first.
guys. This is gonna be hard because I really enjoyed pretty much almost everyone. I can't, like, I hate to be the person. Oh, everyone's great. They actually were for me this episode. Like, I'm not trying to be weak, or I want to contribute with giving a lot of back and forth. And I actually really liked everybody this episode, including the girl, which I didn't think I was gonna like, which was the Siri double, who actually came through this episode with that performance. So it's hard.
What did you like the most?
Probably Dykstra.
Okay.
Probably
McTavish.
Dykstra when like he snaps at the table or whatever and does the blackmail. because you haven't been seeing him being. I mean, you know he can be manipulative as hell, but he's been kind of dialed back these past couple episodes. And
Yeah.
when he had to come to the forefront for this particular episode, because he's been kind of been like, oh, playing the very quiet, reserved, or getting, sexy torture time. I don't know what was going on last episode, but this one he definitely had to come through with avarice, and he delivered that pretty well. Which you weren't expecting, which came as a shock. As you said,
Yeah.
they're just eating the food out of the king's chair. So yeah, probably him. I'd say Dykstra, who plays him. Yeah. Probably him.
Max?
I'll go Radovid,
Mhm.
because his reaction to that, with as few lines as he actually had this episode, his reactions to everything going on
True.
are great, and I look forward to him. His, I'm trying to word this correctly, but how he's going to put his sorrows into Dandelion,
Yeah.
and I'd say Gallatin
Mhm.
for his
Okay.
whole,
Robbie
his final
Amell.
episode.
Yeah.
I thought he did a great job.
He did.
Didn't have a single bad line or acting
Nope.
chop at all, and he generally looked surprised when he got stabbed in the neck by Kahir.
He did good.
And the assassin lady,
Eva, I had her name. I will put it up.
I can't find her on the main page. I don't want to look in the full
It's
cast
Cal
list.
something.
But like I said, I couldn't find their name on the the top cast list for the episode, and I didn't want to dig into the whole thing, 'cause that's a whole other page. But yeah, the assassin, from what I saw, they did a decent job. They had that scene with the the sorcerer, the Francesca,
Mm-hmm.
That's
which is
Philippa.
like just out of Philippa. Okay, I get them mixed up.
Me too.
Francesca's the elf.
Yeah, Philippa. Yeah, that whole scene came out of nowhere for me, and then it's like, that's a reward, I guess.
Yeah.
And the whole head in the box line.
Yeah.
No one expects a head in a box.
No one does.
Not until you watch 7.
Oh yeah. Okay, that I understood the reference. It's been a long time since I've seen that, but yeah, I've seen it.
For me, the top of my list, I was only going to give 2, but I've got a third, since I can figure out which of the 2 to pick. But the top of my list is Graham McTavish as Dykstra.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
He's great. He's not somebody that I would have normally have pegged for best performance in this show. I had yet to call him for that, but he was really good in this episode.
Very good.
My second one is going to have to be Eamon Farron, I think his last name is, who's playing Kay here. Just because I think he did a great job in both his scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was really good to see that. And then I'm tossed between which of the 2. I'm going to go Joey Beatty as Yaskier, just for how well he did that dialogue at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah. It was kind of a second character's time to shine, wasn't it, guys? It's not Ciri, it's not Geralt, it's not Yen. It's everyone else who's really coming through this episode, and they all delivered fantastically.
I think they were given the best stuff to work with. Some of the best stuff to work with.
For sure.
So the only reason I didn't put like Dijkstra on the list for this one, he's always played menacing well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not stepping outside of where he's always played.
I respect that.
And that's why I didn't list him on this, because like he's always played that well.
The 2 parts that I can think of,
threatening, menacing,
I like where Max.
The 2 parts that I can think of that I've seen McTavish play before, the one dwarf in The Hobbit, whichever one it is, Dwaylen. I want to say he played Dwaylen, but it might have been Balin. I can't be sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't remember his character's name on Outlander, but that's the only other show that I've ever seen them on. And yeah, he was a gruff soldier type, but I wouldn't have pegged him as menacing.
But like in the
You know,
series, it's where he's been
Yeah.
as like this threatening, menacing, political type character. So like
Okay.
when he was doing the whipping scene, I think it was the last episode, that was stepping outside his character
I
like
see where Max is going.
majorly. So it's like that's where I think last week I put him up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you mean now.
Him like, oh yeah, I just like had her head cut off. Yeah, I'm drink some beer afterwards. Like nothing happened. Totally within his character. It was good, but it was like it wasn't something
Yeah.
I went above and beyond for him acting wise. Whereas like the guy was playing Radovid, having him actually like have this reality thrust upon him, like, oh shit, these guys are deadly serious, and I could be dead
Yeah.
if I'm not careful. And it'll be interesting to see how he might be able to turn the tables on these guys potentially.
Yeah, I'm really interested
Maybe.
to see his character because he's got more up his sleeve than he seems to give off. So he's
Because
very
I
interesting to watch.
perceive a drinking in his future,
Mhm.
some dandelion in his future,
Mhm.
a lot of dandelion in his future,
I do too.
and then potentially maybe some table turning, maybe. But who knows?
Who knows?
Unfortunately, Dijkstrom is cunning.
Yeah. Devious, cunning,
And he has something that I don't think Radovid has.
balls.
Chaos.
You think he can do magic?
Doesn't Radovid have magic?
No.
Oh, I thought he did.
No. Radovid has no magic, not that I know of.
Oh, I was thinking he was a magic user.
Oh. Because I know in the games, in the future history that is given with the games, Radovid becomes king. One of the things he's doing is cracking down on mages.
Yeah, for
That's why
some
he's-
reason I had in my head that he was part of like the Brotherhood of,
No, Radovid's got no magic, neither does Dykstra.
No, I was talking about Dijkstra, not Radovid having magic.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, neither of them have magic.
For one reason I had in my head that Dijkstra had it.
Nope. He even says
that's
in the book
why-
that he doesn't have it.
And I don't know why I had it in my head. Maybe it's because of the robes.
Yeah.
It's
Just-
part of
yeah.
why when in the book. Nah, I can't go there yet because that's a couple episodes away. So never mind.
And maybe that's why I was
Okay.
thinking Philippa and him are interacting.
No,
Because they're equal levels.
no, they've become partners in crime.
Accomplices.
I don't know why I thought that, but yeah, I was thinking that he had magic on his
That
hand. So I was like,
happens.
Hey, I've done that. It's
Yeah.
okay.
I've had my brain do stuff like that too. So
Done that a couple times, so it's okay.
but he does know a guy or a
He
gal
knows a guy.
or a guy or another
There we go,
gal.
yeah, he knows some people. Feel like he knows some people. Yeah. What's next?
Question 6. If you're ready for themes.
Yeah.
Question 6 of the themes present in this episode. Which ones got your attention? What do you think of those themes, and are they relevant to the books or to events happening in real life?
You guys?
Destiny again. Just going back to the Great Hunt. And where Cirilla needs to end up.
The Wild Hunt.
Controlling her destiny. Controlling, I guess, controlling chaos again. She's back at the she's back at Aretuza, and things are going not so well, and she's trying to escape her destiny. Everyone around her is like, even Yaskier, he's like, well, she's a princess, she's supposed to like sit on a throne and have a and just carry on the line, and that's supposed to be her destiny. And they're like, no. So I think destiny was like a heavy overtone in this show, in this particular episode, pardon me, of course the show, but in this episode particularly, I would say
Right.
destiny. They've been looking at a couple of other subplots going on, but destiny, once again, I think another reason why I love this episode again so much is because we're coming back to that. and we're wrapping up a couple of subplots and moving things forward. So destiny for sure, and controlling chaos. I was going to make a Final Fantasy reference about I'm here to kill chaos, but I'm not going to do it. Anyway, I'll let somebody else take off from here.
Max?
The only thing I really got has to do with betrayal. We've got plenty in this episode. Between
Such
a
as?
box, head in a box, knife in the throat, a little bit of Siri running away, betrayal.
Yeah. Somehow I miss betrayal.
Can't think of any gifts as a theme besides the box.
Ouch.
Is my head in a box?
I mean, you could call the guy in the bathhouse a gift for the ladies.
Yes.
Yeah.
They did want to unwrap it. Can't think of any other gifts in this episode.
No. No gifts. I have a few if you guys are done.
Yeah. Destiny was my big one. That was like
I got prophecy, which ties directly into destiny, and the whole wild hunt chasing after Siri, calling her death itself.
That was cool.
That's straight out of the book too.
Yeah.
So I was happy with that.
I enjoyed it.
Family was a theme. Geralt and Annika talking about his mother, Vicenna.
Oh yeah.
Otto talking about losing his family. Well, Annika talking about Otto losing his family. And let's just take a moment. Otto, yes. I was so happy when Otto showed up because I had just got done rereading Season of Storms, and he's a character in there in like a significant sequence of storyline in Season of Storms. And to see Geralt's werewolf friend in the main series of the show just made me happy. But Otto losing his family, Geralt and Ciri reuniting their family, and so is Ciri and Yen, and Ciri and Yen is like the teenager fighting with her mother this episode. It's like most teenage girls I know fought with their mothers a lot. At least most of the ones I knew. Did you? Yes. So you understand. You understand the Ciri and Yen relationship there then. And then Vizimir and Radovid being family. I'm sure I'm missing another way in which family's in there somehow, but Prophecy already said independence is the next one. Yen trying to be and feel independent from Tisea. Ciri's trying to feel independent from Yen. Dijkstra is trying to feel independent from Vizimir. The kings of the north are trying to feel independent from the mages, while the mages are trying to feel independent from the kings.
Queen's independent of her body.
Yeah, everybody's trying to find independence. But the other one I have is there's an awful lot of those in power or being more powerful misusing or abusing the weaker. Vizimir's flinging that that steel ball at the guy with that cesta, that Hyalife cesta. I'm surprised that guy's head didn't get bashed in, whether or not he had that catcher's mask on. The powerful sorceresses at the bathhouse were making the not so powerful Ciri serve them, which is a change in the books, as I mentioned. They're mistreating her before Yennefer even rescues Ciri from them on the streets when they first catch her. When Margarita, Loathe, and Tila, is that who it was? Yeah, Margarita. Finds Ciri on the street. She started mistreating Ciri because she thought she was one of her novices. So it's a teacher abusing a novice. Dijkstra intimidating Radovid. Because Dijkstra really does have more power in the capital there than Radovid does so far. Ryance or Riance being abusive towards Lydia, because in ways he's a more powerful sorcerer than she is, but in some ways she's more powerful than him. And then that big old nasty animal wrangler being abusive towards that poor teenage girl.
Yeah.
So it was like there was an awful lot about the powerful's misuse and mistreatment of the weaker, and they all stood out to me a lot. And that one especially reminds me of the modern world. We still have it. We still have that problem going on to this day. And it's one of the many ills we have in this world. So, did you have any others?
No, I should have said my favorite dialogue line. This is going back to earlier. Was Yen's that lady teacher. I forget the name. Starts the T. Lady that's over all the girls at Aretusa.
Tisea.
Tisea. She goes, finally, after all this time, you finally become a mother. I really liked that ending, how they ended that scene with each other. That was pretty powerful, the way that she delivered that and ended that whole thing.
Yeah, she took me off guard the first time I heard that line. I was like, oh.
Yeah, that was really cool. I really enjoyed that.
And Anya's reaction as Yen was just the look on her face is like, yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah, that was cool. Really I should have said that when you mentioned it, talking, I was like, oh yeah, about family. And I was like, oh, that's right. I really like that dialogue there. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
And that's the one I was missing. Oh no, I do have it there. It's Syrian. Yeah, never mind. It's in my parentheses there.
No, you mentioned it. Yeah.
I was gonna say, how could I miss Yen and Syrian? I'm like, no, I didn't miss it. It's right here in my notes, but I wasn't looking at the end of the parentheses. I was looking outside the parentheses. That's just the way I had written the note. Typed the note in.
The only missed opportunity this entire episode, they had Margarita there, but there's no Jimmy Buffett.
Wasting away again in Margarita. It's such a big Florida culture thing, but it's for the older people, thank goodness. A little bit older than me, I don't have to deal with that.
I mean, they could have had him walking.
That's really old, yeah.
Walking between the pillars, with a hat on. That's all I had to do.
I heard that's what they do is they go to Jimmy Buffett concerts, and you heard about what they do, right? It's like a thing. It's only at Jimmy Buffett concerts. You guys know what they do, right? Like this is actually a thing. Like the people bring their boats instead of tailgating in the parking lot of a Jimmy Buffett concert. They all bring their boats and they walk from boat to boat and just sit on each other's boats instead of in their trucks and do like tailgate parties with beer in their boats and stuff like that. Like that's what they do. They boat hop at Jimmy Buffett concerts in the parking lot. Like imagine trailering your boat just to go to a concert. Anyway.
Wow. That's dedication.
Yeah. Anyway.
Anybody have anything else on this episode?
Nope.
What's next week's episode, Max?
The Invitation.
The Invitation. I wonder what that's going to be an invitation to.
Jimmy Buffett's place.
It's coming. Yeah, it must be. It's coming. It's coming. The big thing I've been waiting for since I read the books and I've been watching the show. It's coming.
Good.
So
I think I already know what's going to happen, but I'm going to be waiting to watch the
show. Know most of what's going to happen.
I think so.
Big dragon attacks, takes everyone out, right?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That was the second game, right?
Yes, actually. This is true.
So I think we wrapped up another episode, guys. Come back next week, everybody at home. We will be discussing The Invitation. Thanks for watching. Give us a like, a subscribe, and don't forget to be awesome.